Everyone watching this video should take away two things. Number one, despite a bunch of people picking and choosing bits and pieces of information to make what they're saying seem ultimately true, there are multiple things that could be true about any given scenario, especially when the scenario is developing and evolving as days and weeks go by. And number two, for the love of everything holy, unholy, and sensual, can you please, if you're at a certain point, stop consuming negativity that you know is going to piss you off and make you upset? It's not good for you. Your lips are chapped and you need to go get that figured out. As anyone who's endowed in all of this internet controversy is well aware, Nick Fuentes, after Trump got elected, said this.
Feel when you're totally not pressed. The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. It's over. Glass ceiling. Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the global empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice.
And it was stupid. I'm not playing that game with anybody who claims it was a joke, because he's got a track record of saying shit he admits he means. So no, that defense ain't gonna work. And of course, people got mad, people got upset, people decided it'd be a great idea to leak his address online, because we went from your body, my choice to your house, our choice, because that's a great idea. And at the time, of course, when somebody gets their address doxed, they have to deal with a little bit of a concern that maybe somebody's gonna pull up to their house and do harm or spray paint the house, vandalize the house, and they have to be concerned about that. Well, this woman decided it would be a great idea to go to the house and for some reason pick up her phone and start recording the area, recording the house. This is all from her own words. This is what she was doing because I guess she got peer pressured once by a bunch of friends, because she don't take no challenge lightly, and she's there doing it, and all of a sudden random woman pulls up and she's asking questions about if that's Nick Fuentes' house, and the woman doesn't really know. She's just recording because that's for some reason normal to do to anyone's house. Just go to a random person's house and start recording. Clearly, you don't look weird in any capacity. And for the second time, she gets peer pressured into doing something she probably shouldn't be doing, which is going up and knocking on the door or ringing the doorbell. And because she's a strong woman who doesn't take a challenge lightly, she goes and tries to make the attempt, but she doesn't, because right before she touches that doorbell, she gets pepper sprayed, pushed to the ground, and the phone gets stolen.
Hi. Oh my God, what are you doing?
Get the fuck out of here.
The cops come, they ask questions, the internet reacts at the time, and honestly, at the time, I believe I said this. I do believe there's a strong chance old little Nick Fuentes is going to get an assault charge, but who knows, based on the documentation of the cops interacting with this woman, makes it seem like really nothing's gonna happen to Nick, but only time will be the thing that eventually tells. I need it to be blatantly understood that probably, maybe, if this goes any further, which based on the woman's verbiage and interviews, it might or it might not, who knows, time will tell, we might see both of them facing the scrutiny of the online, because clearly showing up to somebody's house makes you out to be a fucking weirdo. You don't know them, you don't have any relationship with them, you're not friends, you're not family, you're a random bitch showing up to somebody's house, and clearly pepper spraying somebody, even in the means of self-defense, and pushing them to the ground, stealing their property, which was was the phone and stomping on it could net you a consequence under the legal precedent and will have you scrutinized by people online. The reason is because as much as people want to say, yeah, this is based in rada, you gotta understand that after taking that phone, there's a consequence of potential you stole someone's property, and I was just waiting to see if shit would hit the fan. And over the weekend, it did, because now he's got battery charges and he's going back in court, I believe, 2 weeks from now to start discussing about this. And honestly, I'm walking away from this thinking he's going to end up paying an egregiously hilarious fine. Why? Not only because of stolen property, but because he pushed a woman down some stairs and pepper sprayed her. Now, it's all going to come down to certain scenarios and how people could actually word themselves into being the victim. On the one hand, I'm going to deal with the easier side first. You have someone who said something online and a bunch of people responded by leaking his address, putting his address out into the public. You have people condoning it. You have people cheering it on. You have people saying, oh, well, it's perfectly fine and rada this and rada that because he hurt our feelings and it's perfectly fine to dox him and spread his address out and hopefully something happens to him. And when he's living his daily life, he's sitting outside or he's sitting inside his house and he looks out the window and he sees a woman just out there recording the front lawn, recording all of the area that is his house, and he's a little bit concerned and he's watching and he's eyeing out the window and he sees this person who just recorded all of his house walk closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. He's not really understanding what's going on. He's not really inept on figuring out, oh my God, what is this woman doing? So now he's gonna have to trigger fight or flight, and without even bothering to breathe a word near this woman, he just takes action, and that will be his cause of saying, hey, it was self-defense and I was fearing that this woman might try to harm me. And then we look on the other side. We have a woman who wanted to go and see if this was actually somebody's house, recording this individual's house, more specifically, admitting to getting peer pressured into doing something she shouldn't be doing off the basis of, oh my God, this person said mean things on the internet, goes up there and gets pushed to the ground, pepper sprayed, and property stolen. And that's the key detail. How is she going to be able to spin going to this man's house, recording the property, and going up to the door after being peer pressured as if she's the one who's going to be the victim? That's the difficult task for her. And maybe she could pull it off. Maybe she can't, because I'm looking at this and I'm having trouble figuring out how a group of people are going to be sympathetic towards her without the added detail that she's an old woman and people are obviously going to feel sorry for her anyway, because it's all dictated on stupid reactions to stupid things said. Because I'm looking at this and unfortunately, I don't really feel bad for the old lady, because she willingly went to somebody's house. She recorded it. She got dared to do something she shouldn't have fucking done, and she met a consequence. On the other hand, you got this motherfucker who doesn't really have the full scope of what's going on taking action against an old lady, and it's ultimately going to have to come down to either the judge or the jury to decide how much this motherfucker is going to have to end up paying as a consequence, if he has to pay anything at all, because he's not going to prison for this. This is according to this woman. Now, she could be lying. She could be saying the absolute truth. This is a civil case. And to my understanding, you don't really go to jail over a civil case. You usually just pay some egregious consequence of a fine, community service, stay away from an individual, and all this extra shit. You really don't go to jail for these things. Now, maybe you could if somebody decides to fuck him over, and that'll be his consequence to burden, because I'm certain Big Tyrone would like to rub on all of that stubble. At the end of it all, I'm mad that I have to say this again. Could you please wait for a little bit more detail to come out? Wait for how the court proceedings go. Wait to see how people start telling these stories, because I could map it out as perfectly as I can at 5 o'clock in the morning wearing a Pac-Man hoodie. But it all boils down to what transpires on the 19th and what could potentially transpire after. And honestly, if I was looking at this with the lens of me looking at it the way I've described in this video, I'm walking away from this thinking he's going to pay a fine, because people are going to look at all the scenarios and all the context, ignore the ignorance of a grown adult making a choice that she shouldn't have made, and they're going to focus on the push to the ground and the stolen property, which would be something to get him in trouble. Because even when you have the scenario of someone showing up to your house after you've essentially neutralized the threat by pushing them to the ground, you stealing her property really isn't going to net you any type of a positive. But we shall see, and I will be back 2 weeks from now to either say I was right, he was facing a consequence, or I was wrong, and this woman is absolutely dumb. But I need you all. I need you all. Matter of fact, let me extend my hands and hold you as I say this. For the love of fuck, stop acting upon a bunch of negative shit you consume on social media. Please, go do something more productive. I understand you're mad that people have opinions you don't like. I understand that those opinions are offensive to you. I understand that those opinions might make you very upset, or your friends upset, or your family, or your daughter, or one of your dogs. I get that. But man, a lot of people lose power when you stop engaging with them. And this twink is somebody a lot of people don't want to engage with because everybody's figured him out. He's some weird incel racist who has no real backing or understanding in anything. And as long as you ignore him, he loses all that power. And if you give him more power in the fact that you're showing that you care, the more he gratifies himself and continues to do it. And if you're somebody who's very upset that I done booked you that easily because I know all you're gonna do is consume negativity, for the love of fuck, go satisfy your flesh. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Mwah! Goodbye.